Nigeria's inflation figures for the month of December 2021 reversed downward trends, rising from 15.04% in November to 15.63% in the month of December. Now, the country's inflation figure, which has witnessed steady decline in successful 8 months, reverses the trend, a situation analysts have described as shocking and surprising, according to the National Bureau of Statistics. Now, Nigeria's Consumer Price Index rose from 17.21% in November to 17.37% in the month under review, while core inflation, which excludes the prices of volatile agricultural produce, stood at 13.87%, a marginal increase compared to 13.85% recorded in the previous month. However, the National Bureau of Statistics attributed the increase in the food inflation rate to a surge in the prices of bread and cereals, proteins, food like fish, meat, and egg. Now, let's make sense of this report. Mr. Adewale Ademola Justus is a business development consultant, and he joins me live in the studio this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
Now, Nigeria's inflation figures for the month of December 2021 went downward. We saw a downward trend that's rising from 15.04% in November to 15.63% in the month of December, and this is coming as a surprise to most economic analysts. We saw the 8 months downward trend, and then it picked up in December. What are your thoughts on this?
I am surprised you saying that it wasn't an unexpected trend. December is a month that wraps up the year, and you will see over centuries it's been a natural stand that almost everything goes up in that month.
Is it because of the festive season?
Of course, yes. You will see by the end of the first month of the new year, you will see a reversal.
So you're saying we should expect
it wasn't unexpected.
So what are the implications of this latest figure on the economy and also on the average Nigerian?
The implication has been the same. It's been the same over a typical Nigerian. You know, over the years, we have been amidst the most unfortunate of citizens across the world. Because per every inflationary trend, the people goes down and they become poorer. Per every trend that is negative of inflation, money supply moves only towards the same set of people who have been benefiting from same supply. But the average Nigerian becomes poorer. Because you will see from the third quarter of the year 2021, some sort of relief should have come the ways of Nigerians. But because of the nature of our economy, which, like I was discussing with somebody, you would see when you treat the concept of inflation, in a nation like Nigeria, it is not always academic. Had it been we are in the classroom, we'll have flaunted a lot of theories, some theorems and concepts. But for our nation, Nigeria, because of some unclear specs.
How do you mean?
Yep. The things that work on the floors of the exchange, maybe in the UK or the US, or if you go to Canada, they don't work here. And you keep finding out why. But unfortunately, we've not been able to categorically unfold what has been responsible for that. But you see, without much facts and without much ability to prove per records, Nigeria has been a unique nation, but on the downward trend.
So you mean that the fact that the prices
we
of
have
food,
negative uniqueness here.
The fact that the prices of food and commodity soared during the festive season
is because of the Yulchi season.
It also had an effect on the inflation rate.
You will see that you saw in December, for which you reported, never ended on the 31st of December. It will still continue driving and riding safely and freely into mid of the first month of the year.
But how do we tie this up, considering the fact that the buying power, there were reports that showed that the buying and purchasing power of the average Nigerian was really low?
It's been low. Because you would see, one of the primordial implications of inflation is the fact that the unit of currency continually becomes unable to acquire as much as it used to be prior to inflation. What do I mean? Naira, a unit of a Nigerian currency, 1 Naira, some 10 years ago, might have been able to acquire this cup for a Nigerian. But with the advent of inflation, you will see even a combination of 10 of its type, maybe rising to 10 Naira now, will be unable. See, if I may share with you, while I was building some years, about 6 years ago, a bag of cement was 1,550. But as a date, if you are unable to amass as much as 3,500, 4,000, you wouldn't buy a bag of same cement. So it is so terrible. That's why lots of cries go to the leadership of the country about inflationary trend. Because whenever there is a spot or a speck of inflation, the people groan small.
Let me just come in there, because talking about the fact that purchasing power has dropped, and you just mentioned the fact that the amount you use in purchasing a particular commodity is not the same.
It's not the same.
As we speak. But as at last December, household expenditure rose about 56% for an average Nigerian. How do you think the government can come in here?
The government will not be magical now, because even despite all this that we are seeing, had it been the government has been responsive and reactionary, because there are so many. You see, let me share with you the particular product I mentioned ago. Had it been we have a responsible and responsive government or reactionary government, you see, a particular product walked into the cement market, and then the pride and the brag then was that it was coming to slash the price of cement.
And you know, the importation was banned.
Importation was banned, just like rice. So the faith and the belief of almost everyone around the shores of Nigeria was that with the wedding of that local, because two critical raw materials are needed to produce cement: gypsum and limestone. And both are hearted here. We have them right in Nigeria. So no external cost comes into its production. But unfortunately, some 5-10 years into that unusual wedding, if I may say, things became worse.
So what do you think is responsible for that? Because if we're talking about boosting local, if we're talking about boosting local production to help the average Nigerian to, you know, buy Nigeria and also improve the buying power and also be able to afford more of this product. And then what we're seeing is a counter reaction to that. We see that even these local goods are not affordable.
See, I ran a law some time ago. I just said, okay, more of this local rice. But you know, to purchase a bag of local rice is much more expensive than even imported rice. So that's why I said, you see, our nation, Nigeria, and the people, the people, because one of the terrible implications of inflation is the benefiting syndrome to the social class.
So you mean there are some small class of people,
some class always smaller, but economically larger than the rest. So for every inflationary trend, there is a set of people who would over benefit. Like I said, what has brought cement up to this rate? What has brought rice up to this price? You keep wondering. And like I said, the government, you see, there's what we call price regulatory system.
You know, some analysts have said that, yeah, these policies are not bad in themselves. The fact that you banned the importation of rice, you banned the importation of cement and all those other over 40 items that was banned in 2016. But they have said that perhaps we should look inward first, boost local production, ensure that our farmers are safe to go to the farms, and make sure that the average Nigerian is able to purchase this local goods before we now place a ban on their importation. That
is not the way I see. Like, if I may share with you, because you see beans, the local beans that we eat all around here, before the first refusal or stoppage of shipment of beans from the northern part of Nigeria down south due to security issues, then, you know, beans used to be as low as 700 Naira per that bowl that they use in selling it, but now it's over 2,000. And when you ask the average Nigerian, they will say Boko Haram insurgency. But is that insurgency still on like it used to be? That's about beans. Ask Gari. Gari is not produced up north. Gari is produced here. But like I said, the social beneficiaries of inflation are always stronger on the shores of Nigeria.
So are you saying the insecurity we're currently experiencing is not having impact on...
It had impact, but the impact it had then, because let me ask you, what impact has the security implication had on the production of Gary? Gary used to be around 300 Naira. But how much does it go for now? It's well over 200%.
But are farmers able to go to their farms?
Of course. Farmers that produce cassava for Gary, are they in the north? They are all here, all around us here.
So what would you say is the major
the
issue?
Nigerian people from whom the leadership comes. Hello? The Nigerian people. There is something about our mentality, and that is treated in economics about inflation. What is it?
Okay, maybe we should talk about the other policies, especially the subsidy removal, which the federal government has said that they would remove this year. There's also the tax on carbonated drinks, which the federal government has said that they would impose. What do you think the impact of this would be? Currently, Nigerians are, complaining under the hardship of the hard economy. But we know that when the subsidy removal is being implemented, the tax on carbonated drinks, we know that it would definitely have further biting effects.
It should have, but you may be shocked that they may not have.
How do you mean?
No. See, the proposed tax on carbonated drinks. Please, if I may ask you, who takes carbonated drinks?
Isn't it the common man?
More of the commoners. So when you tax it, on whose neck is that burden? I'm asking you.
Yeah, you understand.
You understand?
Yes.
See, the people in government from whom the chunks and the junks of policies emanate, in most cases, they wrongly respond to some kind of media prayers. Because if I would say, if you are talking of consumption of certain items or the issue of a subsidy, hello, the landing cost of PMS, a liter of PMS to the Apapa Wharf would not change. And if it doesn't change, that cannot bring down the cost to an average motorist. The only thing that can, so if they either remove subsidy or reinvent another subsidy until we go into local production.
Like getting our refineries to work.
But unfortunately, we are not there. The pseudo refineries you are having now do not belong to the government.
So do you think that Nigerians are ready for the impact of these policies?
Nigerians are never ready. We have never been ready. Because you will see that this gesture is just media oriented, and it will end here in the studio. Walk out there, you will see no commitment on the part of any well-meaning Nigerian about checkmating the impact of this that we are seeing. Because now, if not you, ask how many groups off studio have taken reasonable strides in responding to the issue of the proposed tax on carbonated drinks. The simple question would have been, who is the ultimate target of this tax?
But you just said it that it is the common man.
It's the common man. So what is the intent of the government? When you are taxing what the already impoverished people are used to, or what they are consuming per second, what is the impact? So you are impoverishing them the more.
Would you have advised
luxurious items are there? We have their accounts.
Items are already taxed.
They are not as appropriately taxed. Luxurious items, they are there for the government. So if the government is looking at helping the masses, this is democracy. And the entirety of democracy is law of numbers. More people are here. We should do things that will benefit more people.
So would you say that the federal government should increase taxes on luxurious drinks?
Massive
and then
increment.
Maybe, renege on the one they're talking about?
Oh, of course, yes. Of course, yes. Because, like the political justification averred by one of the proponents of that, is that sugar consumption is this. Sorry, you don't tell the poor man the terrible thing sugar will cause to his body if all he has to consume is sugar.
But these laws apply in the Western world, in other countries.
You said Western world. The Western world has a basal economy that is there already to support, because an average Nigerian won't be tied anybody that stops a Nigerian from consuming carbohydrate. Do you know what they call sugar?
Oh, wow.
You have more sugar in carbohydrates. The gari and the yam, the abokis eat out there, have more sugar embedded in them than these overinflated carbonated drinks.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we would continue the conversation. This time, we'll focus on the CBN's Monetary Policy Committee, which is coming up soon. Please stay with us.
Unripe plantain flour is 100% natural flour gotten from the processing of unripe plantain. It contains no addictive and has a net content of 500 grams. True unripe plantain flour contains vitamin A, B6 and C. It is gluten-free and rich in calcium. Consuming through unripe plantain flour helps to build and strengthen stronger bones and can be a great meal for diabetic patients. It decreases your chances of constipation as it has a high fiber content and provides you with a low-fat diet. Here are some steps to prepare your true unripe plantain flour. Firstly, mix true unripe plantain flour with hot water in a pot and gradually add water till you achieve desired thickness. Place over medium heat and turn very well for 4 to 5 minutes to get the right texture. Mold into a ball and place in a bowl and allow to cool. Serve with your choice of soup. True unripe plantain flour can be eaten with any variety of soup, be it your ofe oha, ofe onugbu, gbegiri, ewedu, or your miyan kuka. To get your true unripe plantain flour, contact us at 12 Olowera Isheri Road by First Welder bus stop off Omole Phase 2, Olowera, Lagos, Nigeria, or call 070-6663-8213 or 081-6397-4447. Distributors are needed nationwide.
All right, we're still discussing the inflation rate, which shot up in December. And right now, we're going to be focusing on the CBN's MPC meeting. That's the Monetary Policy Committee meeting, which is set to come up next week. And of course, we're talking about the inflation rate, which shot up to 15.63% in December after declining for about 8 months. I still have with me Adewale Ademola Justus, Business Development Consultant, with me right here in the studio. Now, the CBN Monetary Policy Committee is set to meet next week. And of course, they would be looking at, we know that they've left all these parameters, they've left it static for about some months now. Do you see them changing it, especially now that the inflation rate has shot up? What do you predict?
You see, I mentioned something about being academic. You see, if you have technocrats, what they may churn out differs automatically from what you have academicians pull out. You see, if you consider tackling inflation and the strategies on paper, the MPC may not come out with anything that differs from what we have been used to.
Why do you think so?
What would they do? From the stable of the CBN, all you have is rate.
So you mean the trend or the parameters will still be left the same?
Sorry, by the nature of our economy, most of those statistical parameters don't work here, and they don't affect the major targets of those things.
So what you're saying now is that these figures do not reflect in the market and the price of commodities?
They can't reflect. They cannot reflect. Things might be worsening if certain critical actions are not taken. Do you understand? So at Adibin, we have a system that is responsive, that is reactionary to issues. Maybe because you will see at the MPC, when you see the component of the MPC and you see the direction of their discussions, you will be shocked that it differs from the real things on the floors of Nigerian market. So as for me, and by the way, like I told you, I did 15 years in the bank as an internal console. I expect less.
The implication of what you're saying is that the Monetary Policy Committee meeting has no bearing.
It does
on
not have.
the
It does not have the very direct bearing.
Well, let's look at the World Bank's projection as it concerns the Nigerian economy with a 4-year period. In 2019, the projection was put at 2.2%, while in 2020 it was 2.4%. The same applied in 2021. Now, in 2022, the projection is at 2.5%, a downward review applied, concerning the initial 2.8%. What are the hopes and how do you think this will work, especially in projection to how the Nigerian economy would respond to this?
Nigerian economy responds larger to political issues, not official nomenclatures like this. You see, all you have reeled out, we have time. If you put them to paper and pen, and you review them vis-a-vis the realities on the streets, you will see that these are just statistics that we get almost every time. But to the average Nigerian, even on the street or in the market, these things don't work.
You know, the World Bank made its prediction on the fact that the oil price has gone up.
To how much?
Owing to the Omicron, variant of the COVID-19. Yep. And now they're saying that this would help the Nigerian economy to grow by 2.5%.
This may help. It may help, not will help.
So what are the factors that would help us, leverage on these predictions? So, because if you say may is a probability. No, it means it could work either positively or negatively.
What makes me, you see, for semantics, the choice of may makes me safer because of the realities over the years. You see, not until, if the CBN churns out these rates, these figures, these statistics, and they have a way of infusing into the economy directly, we may have hope. How do I mean? How do they have infusion into the economy directly? Local production. And you see, most of what we capture as economic activities in Nigeria, particularly reported through the media, are never captured in the national report because they don't come through the normal stream of the economy. So at that, you see, when the MPC meets, MPC is meeting bearing in mind or under the auspice of normalcy. They are meeting and they'll be churning out statistics for things captured. You see, when we mention GDP for a nation like Nigeria, the bulk of what constitutes GDP are never captured in the country. How do I mean? If you check Nigerian roads or Lagos roads, of every 20 vehicles you see, over 10 of them were imported through illegal routes.
How
do I mean?
You're saying illegal routes.
Illegal routes.
That is a very illegal statement.
Yes, illegal routes, and they were brought in not through the Nigerian border, clearing port. Yes. So the revenues attributable to the entirety and the chain of activities in the whole of that trend is out and off. Let's go to the rice market. Over 50% of the volume of rice you see around came into Nigeria not through the ports and the clearance routes. Thus, their financials are off what the Nigerian country sits and dwells upon. Are you okay? Are you with me?
So looking at the inflation rate, which is currently at 11.5%, do you see the CBN reviewing it downwards or upwards?
Hello? It is not the CBN that reviews the rates. The rates emanate.
The interest rates.
Okay, see, if you study microeconomics, the issue of rates in normal economies, when you jack up interest rates, you want more people to patronize the monetary system. How does that mean? They bring their funds and deposit with the system so that money supply can be controlled. But you will see in Nigeria, it doesn't work that way.
Why do you think it doesn't work?
Very many people are unbanked. Unbanked. Volumes of money meant to have been in the... I invested in the nation's treasury bills some 3 years ago. Immediately I left banking. You know, the first 2 years, the interest elements were good. But the third year, there was a massive crash. And when I investigated, I was told that the direction of the government was to discourage Nigerians from keeping their money in such manner.
But we've seen the federal government come up with different policies like the Naira, the different policies to ensure that the unbanked population get banked.
That is federal government. See, policy formulation, policy initiative, and policy declarations are different from actual implementations. As a government, as a people, and a set of leaders that we've been having, they will continually churn out policies. But the realities of the policies is what we are discussing here.
So you're saying there's a gap between churning out policies and getting them implemented?
Because, like I said, see, if the government is targeting dissuading people from investing funds or from keeping funds in the banks, the option is that people should go into the real sector and invest. But what has happened? Nigerians haven't been this, because like I said, I think I lost over 60 or 75% of the interest elements just across 2 years. But immediately I pulled out the funds. Pull it out to go and do what? The economy is not productive.
So you're saying irrespective of the amount of policies...
You know, these guys, there are a lot of people either employed or appointed to work and churn out reports.
Let's get your outlook for the economy in 2022, because for you really do not believe in the figures.
No, they don't work. They do not. I did banking for 15 years.
So what's your outlook for 2022?
My outlook, because there's a mirage on Lagos and Mile 2 Ojota Highway. What is there? You will see, instead of using tar, coal tar, or bitumen for the road, what we have now is concrete floors. And what is the implication of that? It means, and you know, from all that we have, instead of a particular company to pay tax to the government, that concept, the content of that, the volume of that tax is now converted to rehabilitating those roads. But now, when the company wanted to go into that, instead of using what we are used to, that would have been imported, and will have impacted on our forest reserve, they have been using local items, cement, rod, granite, and sand, instead of tar and bitumen. So by localizing the raw materials for that road, we have reserved a lot.
All right, so let's get your final thoughts. That's on the outlook for the economy.
My final thought is for the CBN, who are the major custodians of these statistics, to be more realistic. They should get down more to the people and initiate issues that would have direct impact. Nigerians are tired of all these statistical nomenclatures. You see, the rate, like you are saying, my countenance, this rate, they don't mean anything. Most of these policies don't get to work because the system has permitted a lot of courses.